pasamos la palabra a Félix.
We handed over to Felix. Yesterday night, he presented the beginning of this project, of this implementation they are undertaking in Valladolid, the INEA project, an ecological or environmental project. So the floor is yours. Thank you very much. Good morning. I mean, we've been seeing each other for a while already, but good morning. As you know, I work in an agricultural engineering school in Valladolid, in Spain. I'll show you a map in a second, where we have developed in the last 20 years a project, an integral ecological conversion project, following the guidelines of Chapter 6 of Laudato Si. Before getting started, let me give you some background information. There's a song that Latins in the room will know by Nino Bravo that said, when God thought out Eden, thought about America. I'm sure the interpreters would be able to sing that, but America, Nino Bravo meant Colombia, Venezuela, Central America, the Amazon forest. Well, it's a reading of the Genesis, but we know that when God thought about Eden, he thought about having a vegetable garden. I mean, paradise is a vegetable garden, if you read it. And he thought that was what was best for the human being, to have a vegetable garden, to plant, to work, to be happy and free, because he could roam naked and to eat from his work. And later on, the Genesis, it says that human beings should only feed from vegetables. We've lost sight of that. Okay, so I will briefly read a poem by Gustavo Wuch, who is a farmer, a Catalan agroecological farmer who has taken part in Christianity and justice, for you to realize how important a vegetable garden is. How many of you are currently working in a vegetable garden? Do you have a veggie garden at home? Well, at least 10 or 12. Great. Those of you who don't have one, you will now see how necessary it is to have one. So hopefully you'll change your minds. How many here consider themselves utopians? Are you utopian in nature? Well, Gustavo Duch says, and I'll read slowly for the interpreters, veggie gardens for utopia. In the veggie garden, everything is green, even the wind is green. If you want to know a bit about utopia, not only you need to read books, but you also need a veggie garden and learn from it, from working on it. How many here work on your apostolate for reconciliation? And you don't have a veggie garden, and yet you don't have a veggie garden. Veggie gardens for reconciliation with Mother Earth. I could read you the whole book. How many of you are interested or work in diversity, people's diversity, orientation diversity? You will remember that for life. Potatoes were born on the same day, from the same plant, from the same root, but they were all different. They have no pattern. Pattern in Spanish has different meanings. It means fellow in Colombia, but a pattern, you know that potatoes are planted with small bits of potato, but they all grow different, as all of us. How many of you work in spirituality? All of you, of course, the whole room. That's why we're here. We have the mantis, the praying mantis, the insect. The praying mantis, I had been warned in veggie gardens, meditation is practiced. I don't know how you pray, but how many of you are for earth goods distribution or wealth redistribution? Blackbirds, together with cherry tree, they have put up a poster on cherry trees. We will go 50-50. I don't know how that translates into English. We will share 50-50 what we have with birds in the wild. And for revolutionary Central Americans and all of you who experienced the 70s revolution, as we discussed yesterday in our group, this sentence is by Vandana Shiva, Gandhi, Thoreau. What's most revolutionary is a veggie garden. And I will finish. Faced with injustices, like seeds, we plant ourselves. This is Gustavo Duch, Gardens of Freedom. Okay, so let's get started, because we're here to talk about orchards or veggie gardens. But I want to discuss the exercises. But, well, you will have a video to watch, and I will send you the material. I have some titles in English, so that when the interpreters get lost because I'm too fast, they can have peace of mind. Valladolid is located at the center of the peninsula with an awful continental weather. We are for climate change, one of the very few who are for climate change, because it will get better, that's for sure. In 2005, we started a process. We had this land that you see here. It was huge, and we were not satisfied with it. It was a conventional land, conventional agriculture that was feeding no one. And some professors said, well, we should do something else with this land here. So we had the possibility to discuss with the municipality, with the city council, and we told them, look, we want to organize some ecological gardens for the elderly, for retired people above 65 years of age. And the mayor said, okay, let's go for it. Let's not wait for the budget, just do it. And we said, but that's the cost. He said, go for it. And this is the first part. 230 gardens. The next year, we went back to the mayor and we said, look, we need to increase that because the demand is huge. So 430 gardens, that was the last figure. And the 430 gardens are inhabited by 430 families, spouses, children, grandchildren, even great-grandchildren. I have pictures with 4 generations on them. So this started growing and started having an impact because we had placed it at the center of the land and of our university. And people from Comillas would come to us and say, we are organizing a garden. Where should we locate it? Which is the place with most people? They said the cafeteria. So you need to place it next to the cafeteria. So if people don't go to the garden, they will not be changed by it. But we were changed by our gardens. We were converted. We were totally transformed because this was mandatory ecological agriculture. We didn't really know what ecological, biological agriculture was back at the time. So we said, okay, so our students and our land, they both need to transform and become ecological, biological. So we started teaching bioagriculture to our students, and they were extremely reluctant because they are the offspring of conventional farmers, and we were teaching agricultural engineering. They would laugh at us, but we would still get going, and the regional government was really challenging the project, and other agricultural engineering faculties would really question our project. Here I have a sentence by Pope Francis: time is greater than space. So you need to start processes, not try to occupy the whole space. We didn't have a plan in mind. We just started organizing some gardens, and that has given rise to other things. We didn't have a budget either. We haven't invested anything really. So time is greater than space. And there's another sentence. These are the 4 principles of Pope Francis to take action in reality. Another sentence says that unity prevails over conflict. So we were being challenged, criticized, but by having a dialogue and having a conversation, we changed everything. We changed the syllabus, we changed the faculty. And back in those years, things were happening around us. We changed the faculty, we changed the name of the degree. It was called agro-environmental engineering. We changed the land. We started having being in contact with other bio-farmers of our region. Very simple, very humble people, but extremely pioneering, because they started on their own doing bio-farming without support, and then they wouldn't be able to sell their produce because they didn't have a marketing capacity. So we started entering that world, going to trade shows, etc. Okay, let me speed up here. Back at the time in our city, several powerful initiatives took place in our city. Entre Culturas, it's a Society of Jesus NGO that was founded to support faith and joy. Red Incola is a support network for migrants that we set up in Valladolid, 7 different congregations. It's been up and running for quite a long time. They support migrants. It's integral support because each order contributes with different resources, food bank, school support, and we have a centralized office that works really well. Rezando Voy, I'm sure you're familiar with that one. It's a version of Pray As You Go, the English initiative. I said it in English, you don't have to repeat that. I'm making your life easier. Pray as you go. So we went to see them in England and we set it up in Valladolid, and it's linked to the praying community in Loyola. Pray as you go, the Spanish version, has helped us really much, very much, because they have worked on creation, etc. And there's a lot of people involved.
And then we said, are we going to teach our students to grow more ecologically? They need to know how to sell it and do things right and with the right certificates, etc. So the hens, the chicken, you know, those eggs need to have the stamp, ecological stamp, and that depends on the provincial council. It's going to be indigenous race of egg, because my mother used to say, you know, these autonomous hens are yours. No, autochthonous, not autonomous, mom. Well, so we organized a cooperative. It's called Eat Healthy, Eat Fair. Some people say eat expensive, eat fair, but no, we are cheap. We sell cheap. So Eat Healthy, Eat Fair, it's a co-op, so it's regardless of the Society of Jesus, but all the orders are part of it. But it's good that it's independent, because sometimes we tend to maybe manipulate to many things. So we have the chairperson, and then one person, one vote. That is what a cooperative is, and things are voted on. Everything's voted. So with everything, you see all those things arriving in our city. That's the seat of our co-op. So with all those new things happening in town, then the snapshot was different in Valladolid, because now we have 2 schools, Society of Jesus, we had a parish, we had a flat, we had a high school, so many things. But in 15 years, the apostolic, power was different. We had INEA, we had different, we have the schools still, but they are very much linked with all those initiatives. And here you see more of these initiatives. For instance, Capeltic, This is a Chiapas cooperative in Yomolatel. You know, probably we bring coffee from them, and we have this fraternal relationship with the Eco Calendar. It's with ecological thinking underlying, and the back of the pages you have poems. Father Fabian Most has published his poems in Spanish there. In Spanish, he's sensitive for these issues. Circular economy, etc. So all these initiatives are now a reality. So as a summary, God has come to us in little things. He's coming out to meet us, and he's whispering things to our hearts. So we will continue. We will move forward, see where this path takes us. Now, second time. In 2015, 10 years already had elapsed. Then Laudato Si appeared, and well, in our province, people looked at INEA, and there was nothing about ecology, and so they resorted to us, and they sort of expected something from us, and we didn't quite know what to do, to be honest. But then immediately we felt the need and the desire to connecting the encyclical with our Ignatian spirituality, because we had already started to do something, you know, eco retreats. Fabian gave one. I have it in my hard drive. I copy some things from you because he spent 3 months living with us. Eco Easter, so the Easter celebration, we do that every 2 years, and we continue doing so. But we felt the need to actually, incorporate this into the Ignatian spirituality, connecting it with the encyclical. So everything to go hand in hand. Things that were arriving, sustainability, injustice, climate degradation, indigenous people, social diversity, so much to do, so many problems that would invite us to reflect upon those issues and then incorporate those into our projects. Here, I'm stating it's not for Jesus, not for Ignatius. The environment, climate change became a vital concern. However, today it's our greatest challenge as humankind. So we need to make this exercise and integrate this concern inside our faith and our spirituality. Okay. Things we do in the realm of spirituality. We used to do eco retires, eco Easter, so that's every 2 years with families, with children, eco exercises. We started with 5.5 day exercises in the north of Spain, in Celorio. That's the name of the place up north in Spain. Spectacular place. I'll show you images. Much beautiful than Manresa. Aesthetically speaking, right? Do you see my point? So lectures and gatherings, we did things. We did do a lot of things, trying to tell ourselves that our garden projects, our ecological projects were not detached from our spirituality, but yet it wasn't quite connected, not yet. We lacked this part of the connection. Yeah, it had to connect somehow. Anyway, then we started to realize that everything followed the same outline because, not many new inventions, the Easter ski. So Thursday we would present Jesus, Last Supper, fraternal love. Then on Friday it was about sin, first week. So chapters 1 and 3 of Laudato Si. Then Thursday, chapter 2. Saturday was about hope, and then contemplation to reach love and integral ecology. It's, life, passion, death, glory. And it's the same with eco retreats. Advent, we would work more on chapter 2, joy of creation, the gift, the gratitude. I'm going to slow down then. Lent, chapters 1 and 3, what happens and to sin, the reality imposes, faced with sin, then Easter, ecological, integral ecology. So it sort of matched. And then we go back to the vegetable gardens because that was and is our place of reference. So gardens per se, without people, they're an ecosystem. They're plants, 80 different sorts of crops. They're weeds, or adventitiae, as we call them, we ecologists. And so there's a bit of everything. There's microbiology, there's birds and uh, and bugs and all sorts of animals. But when you put people there, 800 people living there, the ecosystem becomes much larger, so many more interrelations, and then you realize that what you see in the gardens is actually the same you can find in the global reality. So act locally, think globally, and you see solidarity gestures, and you see people that are more vulnerable, people that are sick, you see migrant people, you see broken families, you see people falling in love. So in that core place, so it's near 1,000 people, and then you realize that there's so many things that replicate real life. And most of what happens in reality is not sustainable in terms of relations. We've spoken about broken relations. Fabian, that was for you, because this is a, a graph that I use quite a lot. I always quote a comedian that's called Mota, Spanish comedian, and I always quote Fabian because he did that with the quotations from Laudato Si, telling us what kind of subject you turn when you live in the paradigm of technocratic, for instance, technocratic or integral ecology, for instance, what kind of subject? An isolated self, so it's about dominance, possession over the land, lord of the land, so sickly anxiety. This is all taken from Laudato Si, Fabian. And what sort of person you can become when you try to live and abide by the paradigm of integral ecology. So then the individual is connected with the creator and the land, living from grace and gratitude. Very interesting graph. It's, I don't know, you were so young and God inspired you to prepare that table. Amazing. So it's very good because it really is easy to get where to see where you are. You do your exam and say, oh, I'm so superficial, I'm shallow, I'm anxious, I'm here. That's where we are living. Technocrat paradigm. So we need to move. We need to move out from where we are and move to a different type of paradigm. But well, all in all, we love to be on both sides, especially Jesuits, because we seem to be clever and we always want to say, you know, well, let's not abandon the sinners, let's not totally abandon the technocrat paradigm, but we need to hit the road and we need to move to a different paradigm and we need to report the technocrat paradigm and clearly so, as the Pope is urging us to do. So a deep change, personally and structurally. Is Jaime not here? Well, when Jaime quoted the Korean philosopher, well, he's a scholar, so he reads the books. I read an interview, an interview at El País newspaper. That's as far as I got. So in the interview, the Korean philosopher, well, how can I put it? That's going to be recorded, I'm going to say. So the Korean philosopher said, we are, that was kind of strong. We are the sexual organs of capitalism. That's clear. So we are reproducing and feeding capitalism. So unless we step out from the technocratic paradigm, well, we are what the Korean philosopher says. It's not, okay, I'm staying here, but I'm not a sinner. No, you're staying there and you are also a culprit. So in these great themes in humankind, justice, solidarity, vulnerability, diversity, think of the gardens. The gardens we see there, and they can become universal. They are, because they are in the reality. So this takes us to the sources of spirituality, searching for light, trying to find the word that gives meaning to this reality. How much longer do I have? 10 minutes? Okay. Okay, so in the province we had a gathering well, we were supposed to meet in 2019, 2020, but due to COVID-19, we couldn't do that. So then we were asked to present, well, a presentation about caring for the common home. It had to be online, of course, because the pandemic hit us. And then we said, okay, how are we going to explain that? What do we do? What do we do? We're going to show our gardens because it's our reference. When the gardens are over, we'll move probably. So we then invented well, 8 stations, like situations of the gardens we thought could illustrate Laudato Si and this theme of caring for the common home. So then to the left, you see Gaia. First stop. Gaia is Mother Earth in Greek, and it refers to bio, the bio world, the living world, so live on Earth. And Gaia talks about chapter 2 in Laudato Si, this world created by God with its beauty, etc. Then we had the second station, the second stop, Keyhole Garden, inspired in Africa. We talk about then sin and immigration. Then we have a vacant garden, so not cultivated, to wonder about how we are working on our personal garden. What is it made of? How do we work on it? Then we have the Poli's garden. Well, he died, but Ippolito was his name. He had been a migrant. He'd been in Switzerland. Then he came and worked with us, and he became the boss because he learned about all the plants and vegetables. He went to the library and created plants that would cure other plants or bugs that were killing the other veggies. So, that's care and conversion. Then 5, community garden. Well, there are eight gardens. You see them there, since you will, well, you'll receive the videos at night, so you can maybe pause and read this if you're interested. This is our farm, let's say. These are our gardens, and you see here the path, the itinerary, which has been very interesting for us because it's shed a lot of light. For every stop, for every station, we try to conjuminate 4 things: the reality of a specific garden that's unique, so different to the others. This is the African one. It's circular, it's a keyhole shaped, and the families in some African countries. If you Google keyhole garden, you'll find endless possibilities. So the feed is placed at the center of the circle because it's a circular garden, and it's a nice way. I don't know if you can see, but that's what it is. Then it's a unique garden. It's the only one. And here a quote from Laudato Si talking about what we want to convey there, because this is a space for immigration. You see how tragic, increased amount of migrants escaping, fleeing misery, and that's about sin, because migration as a problem comes from sin. So these are the 4 pillars, and then a personal story. Yes, because we tell here the story of Mandy. There's some posters there, and Mandy, you can read about Mandy there. I brought 5 of those posters for you to get more information. She spent 3 years walking all along Africa. She left Senegal. She took one path, the only path, not headed north. She went to Nigeria, so 3 years, and now she's working there. So that's Mandy, and that's a typical immigration and injustice story. So that's the way we created our 8 steps or our 8 stations. This is a garden for people on a wheelchair to meditate about vulnerability. Vulnerable people. This garden was designed by a student as this a thesis, and the wheelchair can access this shape, trapezium shape, and person can work, and they use all these resources to work on the garden. He mentioned a very specific piece that, of course, I didn't get, so I'm not going to translate the name of the tool. You can figure it out. So Gaia, the name of Mother Earth. There's a space there for contemplation. It's a wonderful place full of orange trees. So it's dedicated to contemplation. So the beginning of Laudato Si, praise be. So many groups of people come here to meditate. We can give them some questions, and they can do that as a retreat, as a mini retreat. We give them some gospel passages, but it's gratitude for creation, what we are doing to this world, and how we need to build a new world. So this is a station devoted to solidarity, and there's another garden devoted to sharing, to community action, etc. So that's the idea, and that's what's helped us enter the realm of exercises. But then, having come to this, we then said, all right, this project is doing fine, it's nice, it's working well, it's beautiful, but there's something missing. What is it? In 15 years, our apostolic subject has changed, our concerns, Laudato Si. What are we missing? Jesuit communities are the same compared to 15 years ago. We have a community in a school, in a residence, and we were living in a place. So we said we need to change the community. So we wanted to create a community space. I mean, don't ask for permission in Rome, because then we will take 4 years and maybe we can know for an answer. Let's do it. Let's try. If it works, we'll stay. If it doesn't, too bad. So a week before COVID-19, we went and lived together in a center called Ana Leal Ecology and Welcome Space. So we welcome migrants, and we have space devoted to ecology. We have people coming from the universities, from our schools, or from Magis, so everybody's welcome. We have a group there thinking of creating our materials, for the care of the common home. And as for welcoming, yeah, we will coexist with the migrant families and people who are not Jesuits. They're lay. Sometimes they come to learn, they come to help. They may spend a few years or a few months, and that's why, and that's how Ana Leal Ecology and Welcome Space was born. Fundamental shift. Radical change. Pedro Trigo, a Jesuit that lives in Venezuela, published an article. He's from La Rioja, just as me, and it has this article, "Land out of land." So that's what he says. We're land, dust, and dust we will turn. So if we detach from land and from the earth, we lose our essence. And then he says that we need to continue things to the land always, not just in opening hours, 8 to 4. We had a project in the past at 6 p.m. You would go back to the hall of residence, and then you would do something else. No, now we stay there 24 hours, 24/7. That's where we live, and that's our life. We are fully linked. We are now much happier. Everything has changed. We see things different now. We are involved and engaged with so many people 24/7. I could go on forever about this community, but I gave them a book that we just published. And I said, you see, because we need to remember those years, those past years when it's gone. But then I visited Father Benazet. He was not father yet. You see, I was dressed in a military jacket. It was so cold near Paris. We went there because we wanted to create the community, and we were in discernment. We had a nice time together, very cold weather. First conclusion, please fix the heating at INEA. That's the first thing we need to do, or we will die. But he really nailed it. That's the logo of our community: nature, home, as in welcoming, stairs for everybody to use freely. And some of the people that have lived with us, you see this guy, Robert, green t-shirt, superior. Then we have another Jesuit, Pesca, families that come from Colombia, Brazil, Bulgaria. I'm having a look. Spain, yeah. Morocco. This guy with the beard over there, nice guy. He's called that. Pesca, El Pesca. Mandy, Mandy, at the back of the picture. I'm very attached with him. Probably you, Fabian, met Mandy, yeah, because he's been with us for 10 years. And how long have you been here, Mandy? And he says 13. Day after he asks, how long have you been here? 7. So you never know. But well, apparently it's been a while. I'll have to check his contract. Well, here celebrations, people that spend time with us in the space that I covered already. So this is our life now. This is our expression of conversion of a group of people that are so very different, but with who share the same vocation, and we live in a specific reality that inspires us, makes us happy, makes us stronger. Reality is higher than idea. That's what Pope Francis says. Okay, 3 minutes? Okay, 3 minutes to talk about conversion. For me, for us, so these call, this is a reality for the exercises. We need to make a decision. So with the two standards, with the call, we need to make a decision. I am going to step out of this paradigm, but truly, and then I'll move to the other paradigm. Of course, this will have an impact on the whole of my life, and it will have an impact on the institution to whom I work. And this decision we have not made. Our province has changed little since we have the fourth preference, and we need to take decisions. We need to move out of that. In Laudate Deum, Pope says, don't you listen? Don't you obey? Sometimes we complain about the church being so slow in making this. Now the church is far ahead and we're lagging behind. Come on. Oh, you enjoyed that? Some clapping at the back of the room? Good. So we need to make decisions. And our universities still pay those chairs and corporations in our countries. Oh, they pay, and of course, who is going to denounce the technocratic paradigm in the name of the Society of Jesus or other orders? Well, this is not going to be so simple. This is just a brushstroke. It's a snapshot. It's a general overview, so it won't be easy. But anyway, eco exercises. We talk about conversion in the biblical Ignatian sense. If you've done the exercises online, biblical sense, Jaime said in the morning, this means Jesus makes us turn round. I distinguish this ecological transition from conversion, because conversion is a bit more believer. Ecological transition is letting the consequences flow of all our actions. Ecological transition can be applied to any transition toward integral ecology model, but one doesn't have to be a believer. Ignatius, so the two standards, the call, encounter with Jesus, for humble, Laudato Si, we talk about conversion there. We need a mystique, so let the consequences flow. And in all of this, it's quite radical, so there's no room for doubts. Jesus hesitated. Did he hesitate about how to construct and build the kingdom of God? Yes, but he took a choice and he made his decisions, and the Good Samaritan, and we see the options he took in many passages of the gospel. But of course, he hesitated. Paul talks about the new man, Ignatius, the call, but in principle of foundation, he warns us about indifference. And after the two standards come the binary to warn us about the fact that this is not easy. So all this is summarized in the Celorio exercises. That's the place. That's Celorio, the morning prayer, the sea, when the weather's nice, not always. So let me close very quickly. Let me wrap up because I'm really clearly out of time. So when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, we published those little booklets, four actually, and I brought 6 copies. Take 1, 2, 3, 4 at least. It's very simple, but I'm going to tell you the value. The value, because it's incalculable. Last year, we recapped the exercises and we launched the Eco Exercises course with 12 blocks. Every block, including 7 readings, 3 are mandatory because it's a course shape, right? Jose is there. It was his idea. So it's a program, it's a course that you have to follow. So 6, 7 articles that you can read per blog, and they refer to each and every one of the chapters. So the principle, foundation, 3 blocks, the gospel of creation, the God, the man is created for encountering with God. So that, 212. And 50 people signed up for this course in the first week. They did it, they followed it, and it was wonderful. Their comments, their feedback, they said the articles, the text, 90% is Toño Garcia. Toño Garcia is a Jesuit with an enormous spiritual value. He's very knowledgeable about the Ignatian exercises, an expert. He's a saint. Living saint. Not many people left, sanctity is a path. But you see my point, Xavier knows better. Well, anyway, and when the course ends, then we said, okay, why not an experience of eco exercises following these very same 12 sections online? And that's how powerful the Ignatian spirituality portal is. 100 people signed up. And then we said, oh, who wants to do the accompaniment? Somebody who's knowledgeable about the exercises and knows about ecology. So 11 people did the accompaniment. Marta, I think. Who else? Joanne, I can't see Joanne. Other people actually did that. And some people here followed them. So 11 people. Then we said, we need 2 people per so every companion takes care of 2 people, so only 22. You did that, right? So 22 people. So, and then we thought maybe we need more people to give the exercises. So if you want to, please tell us, because in Lent we will do that, and maybe the network of people that can accompany other people can help us, from Easter to Pentecostes to go inside with the meditation. So that's the text. That's the text that we published. Actually, in this public, well, it's only 20 copies, but I'm leaving here 3 or 4 just to glance through. But they have an owner. So these are AI generated pictures, very nice pictures, but AI generated. The texts are original and spectacular, and everything is online. You can find it online. These are the booklets. This is part of this, and everything can be downloaded from the net. The presentations here for the eco exercises, the green little booklet for the conversions, and the video. There's a video, and I'm gonna leave you here. Oh, you see, I've been paid, so I had to bring stuff. So here, a summary of the eco exercises. It's published in Mensajeros, the journal, in June, but in relation to Celorio and the exercises there and the way we do things there in Celorio. And a little presentation about this Ana Leal Center, the space with the purpose. It's a draft still. We don't have the final text yet. I'm leaving all of this here just for you to take a look. And if you want to download, here's the site address. And thank you very much for being so kind to listen to me. Thank you.
Gracias, Félix.
Thank you, Felix. So a minute of recollection now.